In order to create a form from scratch, the first thing we need to do is connect it to a data source. A form can get its data from either a table or a query. And if you choose a query, you can either use a pre-made query that is saved over here in the navigation pane, or create an embedded query directly inside of the form. Let's begin to create a form that we will refine over the next few movies. Here's the scenario. The head of the No Obstacles Training Department needs a form to manage her team's benefits and salary information. Let's create a form that is tailored to her specific needs. First, we'll create a query to gather the appropriate records. We can do that by going to the Create tab and then choose Query Design. I'm going to add in the Employees table and the Employee Phone table. I'll readjust these so I can see all of the fields within each table. And now I'll start choosing my fields. I'm going to choose the first name and last name, building, department, and status. We're not going to need to edit the hire date, but we do want the dental, medical, and retirement benefits, as well as salary and job rating. Finally, from the employee phone table, we want the phone number and the type. Now I'm going to scroll over here. Everything went off the screen, so I'm going to make sure that I got everything, including the phone number and type, and those are all added. So that's good. Now I'll scroll back here. I'm going to add in a few criteria here to filter my list. I'm only interested in the employees in the training department. So underneath criteria, I'm going to type in training. Also, I'm only interested in the phone numbers that are the office numbers. I don't need the home or cell number. So underneath type, in the criteria row, I'm going to type in office. I also don't need to see that this is the office number. Because it's on the form, I'll know it's the office number. I can use this show checkbox and turn it off, which will still allow me to filter this record, but not display it in my results. Finally, because I want this to be a sorted list, I'm going to go all the way to the beginning. And on the last name, I'm going to apply a sort here, turn that to ascending. We can view the datasheet results by switching to datasheet view, and we'll see that we have 17 employees in the training department. It's sorted by last name, and if I scroll over to the right, we've got the phone number information here. Okay, this is going to be the record source for our form. Let's go ahead and save this query. I'll go up to the Quick Access toolbar and press the Save icon. And I'm going to name this Employees-Training Department. Go ahead and say OK. And I'll close the query. Now we can start to create the form. I'll go to the Create tab, and in the Forms group, choose Form Design. I'll open up the property sheet for our form and go to the Data tab. In the Data tab, we'll find a property called Record Source. This is where the data is going to be coming from. We can use the drop-down list here to see a listing of all of the tables and queries that are in our database. I'll find the Employees-Training Department query that we just built. Go ahead and select it, and then close the property sheet. Now that it's connected, we can start adding our fields. I'll turn on the Add Existing Fields panel by clicking on the toggle, and then we'll see all of the fields that are being prepared by the query. I'll click on the first name, and then shift-click on Number, and now I can just drag and drop everything at once into the Details section. Now that I'm done with existing fields, I can close that panel. Now we can start rearranging these around on our form into logical groupings. I'm going to take the last name, for instance, and using the handle in the upper left-hand corner, I'm going to drag it and move it up here right beside first name. I'm going to take building and department and put them over here on the far right. I can highlight both of these at once and drag all of these together. I'm going to take all of the benefit information, these checkboxes here, I'll highlight over those, and all at once I'll drag these over here to the right side as well. I'll move salary up above status. I'll move job rating down below status, and I'll take the phone number field and drag it and put it right below the first and last name. I'm going to open this up a little bit to make it a little bit wider, and now I can delete some of these labels that are redundant. It's going to be pretty obvious that this is their first and last name and phone number, so I don't need any of these labels. I'll click on the first name label and press Delete on my keyboard, and I'll do the same for the other three. At any point in time, we can switch into Form View using the toggle button up here. Now we see what our form looks like with data populated. We could use the record selectors at the bottom to cycle through the 17 employees in the training department. If I want to go make additional changes, I'll have to use the drop-down menu on the View button to switch into Design View. The toggle merely goes between Layout View and Form View. So forms that are going to be displaying data will need to get connected to a data source of some variety. This form is serving a very specific task, and so we needed to gather a unique subset of records using a query. Once you have the query established, it's merely a matter of connecting the form to the query using the record source property and then adding the fields over to your form. At this point, this is a good place to save our form. I'll go up to the Quick Access toolbar, press the Save icon, and give it a name, Training Department Employees. Go ahead and say OK. Now our form is saved. If I scroll down in my navigation pane, I can see it down here at the bottom of the list.